everybody, to the Captain Spot. I'm your host, Justin Freeman, 6 foot 1 inches, 275 pounds, fantasy knowledge. It is week 16, championship week. To those of you playing in your season-long leagues, congratulations on getting there. Good luck here in the final. A lot of your games may be coming down to this Sunday nightcap between the Titans and the Packers. This game's in Green Bay. Has an awesome 54-point total. Packers favored at home by a field goal, favored by 3 points. Looks like it should be a really fun offensive shootout situation. That means we are going to want to know all the high-priced guys and probably some low-priced guys that make it all work and fit together so that we can dominate this slate. Quick reminder, go check out cptspot.com. Get a lot of goodies there, including a copy of the Showdown ebook for $34.99. Everything you could ever hope to know about NFL Showdown, playing DraftKings, FanDuel, wherever you're doing it, right there for $34.99. You can't beat it. It's evergreen. It'll last forever. Learn how to play the game the right way. Plays sort of take care of themselves. That's what we're here to do. We're here to talk about these plays. Let's hop right into the slate. Looking at the injury report. Tight end Jace Sternberger for Green Bay is out this week, and running back Jamal Williams is listed as doubtful. So we are planning for no Jamal Williams in this game. That means, we're going to expect big things for Aaron Jones in this game and a little bit of complimentary action for A.J. Dillon, who is the number 3 back there in Green Bay. The Titans come into this game relatively healthy. We've seen A.J. Brown pop up on the injury report really every week for the last several months at this point. But it's just sort of routine for him. He'll play. Everybody's looking good. No game designations among the offensive skill players there for the Titans. Let's think about how this game's more likely to flow. As I was sort of doing these projections, there's a big name that does not stand out very much at all this week, and that's Derrick Henry. So I went in to see what is going on to drive down Derrick Henry's awesome ceiling that we know he has. And so what I learned was that with this game being at Green Bay, the Packers have a tendency to, elevate their own play, sustain for long drives, and that leads to fewer plays for the opposing offense. And not only that, but they also tend to push their opponents more towards passing game scripts. And with the Packers favored in this game, Titans figure to be playing from behind more than likely, which lowers Derrick Henry's chance at a ceiling game. Obviously, we know you got Derrick Henry on one side. You got Davante Adams on the other side. Both guys who are capable of putting up a 30-burger on any given day. Sometimes more than that. Just phenomenal players. So understanding what's more likely to happen. I know Derrick Henry's going to attract a lot of ownership because, it's the month of December, which Derrick Henry has a trademark ownership rights of at this point in his career. Just dominant in the month of December. But that's all Narrative Street. We're going to focus on the things that matter, things that are predictive, and a lot of that has to do with this game script, with Packers favored by a field goal. It's not a huge spread. Don't get me wrong. It's not a huge spread, but I do think the Packers are the more talented team. I do think they'll control pace. Aaron Rodgers leads extremely long drives, so this game we could see blow for blow, but overall I think the Packers are just going to be on the field and dominate time of possession, just take the ball away from Derrick Henry and the Titans in this game. So let's take a look at some of the pricing. We mentioned Aaron Rodgers. He'll cost you $11.6 this week. That's compared to $10.6 on the other side for Ryan Tannehill. And I think overall you're just sort of asking yourself, well, we know the Packers and the Titans are going to score points. The question is, how many points, and then how do they, how are they allocated throughout the course of the offense? Is Aaron Rodgers going to be a big part of the scoring opportunities for the Packers? Almost certainly, yes. I mean, at 11.6, that's not a price point we want to stray away from. He's not priced up at 14, 15K or something like that. We can afford him at 11.6. He's going to make for a textbook flex option for us there. And Ryan Tannehill, pretty similar. He's been playing phenomenal football lately, been passing around, getting the ball out to his playmakers in space and letting those guys make plays. And that's exactly what they have done. And Ryan Tannehill, 10.6, another guy who has a pretty strong ceiling for sure. A little bit scarier floor than Rodgers, but overall, you like what you're going to see in terms of game script. There is at least a situation that plays out where Aaron Rodgers could be uninvolved or minimally involved in the Packers scoring opportunities if Aaron Jones were to have a big game. And the same is true for Ryan Tannehill on the other side. But at least we know that the more likely occasion is for Ryan Tannehill to be playing catch-up mode and be forced into passing high-volume situation. Looking at the running back position, $9,400 for Aaron Jones. Of course, Jamal Williams, $3,000. We can't play him unless he is just surprisingly active this week. Tyler Ervin, can't play him, $1,200. But we can play A.J. Dillon, $1,400. And certainly interested in considering it. Like, we have to think about what game script plays out for us to consider playing $1,400 A.J. Dillon. And I think it's one where the Packers are up big, and A.J. Dillon is the guy who's on the field mopping up. I guess you could also consider that there could be a red zone role. Like, there could be a goal line role emerge for A.J. Dillon. Like, that was supposed to be the read on him coming out of college at Boston College, was that he is just a tremendous between the tackle runner, run you over type of guy. But Aaron Jones has been phenomenal inside the red zone his whole career. I don't see any reason for that to change. Looking at last week when Jamal Williams sort of went down in that game, Aaron Jones ended up playing 90% of the snaps, Jamal Williams 6% before he got hurt, and then A.J. Dillon 8%. So I kind of see that working out very similarly. I'm not super interested in A.J. Dillon at $1,400 unless you're just chasing a mop-up game script. I think is probably the best way to look at that. Looking at the running back situation on Tennessee, it's pretty straightforward. You're considering Derrick Henry and probably nobody else. You consider playing Jeremy McNichols or Darrynton Evans. You'll remember D'Onta Foreman was a part of that offense for a period of time. That's no longer the case. Now that Darrynton Evans is back, I don't see Foreman being active at all. So it's basically McNichols doing this sort of pass game role and Darrynton Evans coming in and serving as like the RB2 in this offense. So, overall, we are projecting just a big load for Derrick Henry. The only question is how efficient can he be against, decent Packers defense and one that should be keeping him off the field and in negative situations throughout this game. I think there's a lot of reasons to fade what will surely be a highly owned $12,400 Derrick Henry, the most expensive player on the slate. Looking at the passing game options, that's where I'm drawn towards. Davante Adams, $11,000. I think he's underpriced, especially compared to Derrick Henry. We know, you're looking, obviously, anytime you're playing a pass catcher, you're looking for a certain type of script, but Davante Adams is going to be a big part of, let's just imagine we're talking about a script where the Packers blow out the Titans. Well, guess who's going to be a big part of that blowout? Davante Adams and Aaron Rodgers, of course, $11,000. I think you want to go ahead and make him a key part of whatever you're doing. Just a phenomenal floor. If you think about what's a worst case scenario for Davante Adams, it's probably 7 catches for 80 yards. Well, guess what? He's got 15 fantasy points just right there alone, and that's a bad game. A good game, he's obviously breaking 100 yards. He's scoring at least 1 touchdown, and he obviously has the upside to go far beyond that as well. I think at $11,000, you have every reason in the world to be considering playing Davante Adams. But you don't need me to tell you to play Davante Adams. You know that. But one guy whose snaps are increasing there for the Packers is Allen Lazard. He had 46%, 69%, 69%, and now 77% of the team's snaps over the last 4 weeks. That number is continuing to increase. That's a good sign for Allen Lazard coming off that core muscle injury. Now he's ready to rock and roll. Priced at $5,600. He's priced up above Marquez Valdes-Scantling. Those two guys are kind of operating as the wide receiver 2, wide receiver 3 there. $4,800 for Valdes-Scantling. And, I'd say Valdes-Scantling is definitely the bigger play threat of the two. However, I like Allen Lazard's consistent usage there. I saw 23% of the targets last week. Certainly really encouraging. 1 game sample size, of course, but only 4% there for Marquez Valdes-Scantling. They could try to get him a bit more involved. They ran an identical number of routes last week. But I think the arrow is pointing up for Allen Lazard, $5,600. Try to find a way to make that work. Looking at some of the cheaper options there at receiver for the Packers, it's tough to go much further down the depth chart. But if you are going that far down the depth chart, the guy that you want to be looking at is Equanimeous St. Brown, priced at $200. Played 18% of the snaps last week. That's not a bad number. It's not great, but if you're looking just to get lucky, some way to get all the high priced guys into your lineup, ESB might be your guy. Tavon Austin running just a few routes. I think all those guys are just going to be super thin plays. You're probably going to want to try to build in a different way. But at the tight end position, you got Robert Tonyan, 6,400, has just been a touchdown monster this year. Double-digit touchdowns on the year. Just phenomenal there for my guy Big Bob, who I called out as a week 1 play, had straight up goose egged on me and has dominated ever since then. So love-hate relationship between me and Big Bob Tonyan. But he's a beast. I mean, he's used in the red zone. He's averaging about 15% of the team's targets, which is not a great number for a tight end, but it's just been really efficient, especially in terms of fantasy points per target, been phenomenal. We're talking about Jay Sternberger. He's out this game, so Mercedes Lewis see a little bit of a bump in playing time. And Dominique Daphne is a guy who's just sort of rounding out the rotation. I don't think you're considering him. Would much rather play Mercedes Lewis at $600 than Dominique Daphne at $200. And keep in mind, I mean, Mercedes Lewis is out there on half the snaps. Played 48% of the snaps last week, 57% the 2 weeks before that. That's really good numbers there for Mercedes Lewis. Certainly considering playing him, and he's obviously a red zone threat. We've seen him pop off multiple times this year as well. At the tight end position for the Titans, Jonnu Smith priced at $4,600, back to being a full-time player, running a lot of routes. But the targets have been a little bit hit or miss for Jonnu Smith. Would probably be called more towards the wide receivers in this offense. Now, I guess I should finish up with the tight ends, where you have Jeff Swain, Michael Pruitt, Anthony Firkser. My guy Firkser has been on the downswing here lately. You'll remember his name from earlier this season, $1,600 for Firkser. But, not playing enough snaps, not running enough routes. But really none of these backup tight ends are running enough routes. I mean, Firkser's still the number 2 in terms of routes run, but he's falling farther and farther behind in terms of actual snap count. So he's just not out there a lot. It's pretty unpredictable usage, but at least they want to use him as a pass catcher. I don't think you're using Swain. I don't think you're using Pruitt. I really don't think you're using Firkser in this game. And I'm not super attracted to Jonnu either. So that tight end position just sort of a washout for me. But A.J. Brown, very interested, $9,000, big ceiling guy. Sees a lot of targets, probably going to project for a lot of targets once again here in this game, averaging about 27% of the team's targets over the last 4 weeks. Really good usage there. Corey Davis, super highly involved as well, $7,800 for Corey Davis. But then digging in behind those guys, it's tough to know exactly what to expect. There's not a guy who's getting a ton of snaps. They've been running a lot of 2 tight end sets. They've been, heavily involved in run game. They just haven't been using a wide receiver 3 with tremendous consistency. So I honestly wouldn't even go that far down into the depth chart. Let's just keep it with the usual suspects. There's no need to really sneak up on anybody. Mix in your defenses and kickers, and I think you have a really good way to play this thing out. Let's take a look at our captain spot allocations here this week. And you'll notice, I told you Derrick Henry did not grade out well today. And you'll see it right here. It loves the Packers in this game. Loves Devontae Adams. Loves Aaron Jones. Those 2 ceilings really stand out. And then A.J. Brown back over on the Titan side before he gets to Aaron Rodgers. So you see Aaron Rodgers grading out better than Derrick Henry. And, sometimes when I see something weird like that, I'll go back and look and check the math and make sure that I haven't made like a faulty error or an assumption somewhere along the line. But I think a lot of that has to do with projected game script. It has to do with Packers defense. And overall, like while we know Derrick Henry has a big ceiling, his scary low floor as well. So just something to keep in mind for sure as we think about how this game could go. But I think more of the success for the Titans is going to be found through the air in this game. Looking at our flex allocations, Aaron Rodgers, the clear number 1 there, followed by Aaron Jones, Devontae Adams, Ryan Tannehill, Derrick Henry, A.J. Brown. So it's interesting to see Tannehill showing up as fadeable here. 3 guys on the Packers side that all rate out higher than Ryan Tannehill this week. Then it's Derrick Henry, A.J. Brown, Corey Davis, Anthony Firkser, Allen Lazard, Bob Tonyan, Jonnu Smith. So it does still like Firkser a little bit more. It likes, the routes that he's running, even though there's not a ton of snaps. A.J. Dillon pops up down there a little bit. So overall, lots of different ways for us to approach here. A lot of different options, a lot of different game scripts to chase, and different things for us to be interested in. I think I'm going to, you see, sort of where the kickers line up in this particular game. Mason Crosby right there as a guy that we can consider using. I like using the kickers on favorite teams as a good way to catch an edge on the field. I think they're often under-owned are the kickers. Probably over-owned are the defenses. People like that 10 points to start off with. But overall, that's going to do it here for Packers and Titans. This should be a fun game. I really like the Packers side of this. If you're betting it, take that for what it's worth. That'll do it here for us on Sunday night. Stay tuned over on the Mayo Media Network for our Monday night show. We'll bring it to you then. Hope you guys have good luck this weekend. Good luck in your season-long fantasy playoffs. I'm going up for first place myself. Matter of fact, good luck to Ryan Matthews, who is one of 100 teams left in the DraftKings Best Ball Tournament and had Alvin Kamara going on Friday night. Just unbelievable. One of 17 teams basically still live in this thing. Hope he has a big day today. Good luck to all you guys. We'll check you out here Monday on Mayo Media Network. See you soon. Later.